My beloved family, every year for the past 10 years, I have hosted the Priest Isaac's African History Month essay competition. Over the years, it would have grown by leaps and bounds to engulf the whole nation and beyond. As His Excellency Marcus Mosiah Garvey has taught us, a people without knowledge of self is like a tree without roots. Internationally, wherever African people are found, the education system is not geared to teach them about the knowledge of self. This lack of knowledge of self greatly fuels the downward spiral from the womb to the tomb for many of our people. Let me remind you of the officially recognized school to prison pipeline. The African History Month essay competition has been designed to encourage and inspire the zeal in our children for the knowledge of self. The competition encourages them to research their history and heritage, then articulate it in essay form. This is a project that demands thousands of dollars just for the basic prizes, marketing, and promotion. But we are not focused on the basics. We are thinking big. We have children to save. On Sunday, the 5th of November, 2023, we of the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge will be hosting the third of our annually presented Patrons Day. On that day, we present our international webathon designed to create and raise the funds for our national and international African History Month essay competition. To deliver a well-executed Priest Isaac's African History Month essay competition with prize-giving ceremony and banquet attached, the budget will be $26,500 United States currency. This is for the national essay competition, while the international essay competition will be $31,225 United States currency, a small price for the results that will come. It is obvious that we have been consistent with this project. We have a clear record of good accountability and great transparency. So those who are well-wishers of our children should feel free to contribute to this very important and timely project. Our ultimate target on Patrons Day, the 5th of November, 2023, is $57,725. Family, we are looking for your genuine assistance in this long-running, well-respected project, Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge African History Month essay competition. Patrons Day, 5th of November, 2023. You can contribute via PayPal, CashApp, and via other apps. Visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com, or email priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. Give thanks in advance.
Yes, royal family, give thanks in advance. Blessed love to each and everyone. Give thanks for your presence with us. And of course, we're very thankful for the moment where we can now come together and just take this to another level. Give thanks and all praises, Haile Selassie the first exalted. at this coronation moment, we give thanks to the Father and the Mother of creation, as we are here now celebrating 93, the 93rd anniversary of the coronation of Emperor Haile Selassie the First, of the coronation of Empress Menin. Family, welcome to another edition of Rasta Roundtable. Of course, you obviously just took in such word sound as it relates to the 5th of November. We're all here looking forward to that beautiful and wonderful day of expression. It is referred to as Patrons Day, when we exchange, where we give back and you give back, and it's just a lot of love and a lot of inspiration on that day. And as you could clearly see, our webathon is on, as we are definitely, our target is up as it relates to the national and the international essay competition, African History Month essay competition. As you could see, obviously the standard is rising. We definitely there, I mean, if there are 8 billion people on the earth, I mean, I'm sure at least 5 billion of those are children. So I don't see nothing wrong with us reaching 5 billion children so that they could take that essay competition. I know we like to think small. I know, oh no, we don't need all of that, priest. Let's just get a handful of people and keep it small and neat. No, we're not in the small and neat thing. We want to reach the world. We have people to touch hearts, to touch and people to inspire. That's the mission here. But anyway, give thanks for your presence with us again, and how good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to gather together in one unity. Of course, we know it is as the precious ointment that anointed the head that went down, ran down to the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his robes. So we give thanks for the gathering of the brotherhood at this moment. We have not forgotten the sisterhood at all. And of course, you know, that is why the scripture says it is as precious. I don't know if one's checked that psalm properly. How good and how pleasant it is for people to live in unity and harmony, brothers and sisters. It is like the precious oil that anointed the head of the high priest. That's how precious it is. It's compared to the dew that descended upon the mountain of Hermon. The dew is considered a pure thing. You understand? When you see a woman in the olden days, a virgin woman was considered, she was considered pure as the driven snow, you know, which is like dew itself coming down on the mown grass. So dew and the oil that anointed the head are considered precious things, and they're compared to unity and harmony amongst brothers and sisters. You understand? So the next time you read Psalms 133, you could get the fullness thereof. Yes, family, we have the full, well, not the full house, but the house is still full. We have Ras Anko Madrid with us. We have Ras Isern with us. We have King Ras Kwame with us, and you have I and I with us this evening here, Rasta Roundtable. Blessed love to the royal family, each and every one. Rastafari, Rastafari. Give thanks.
Yes, I always,
Yes,
give thanks to be here.
Give thanks. And I know, yes, King Ras Isern, blessed love, man. And of course, Ras I Kwame. Family, you don't know his coronation, you know. We say, yes, my Lord, it's coronation time, and it's just celebration of the coronation. And, you know, it's been a while since we got in this mass, and we're moving forward now. So it's a good time for us to come together. And of course, you know, we have an audience of students, and everybody in the audience is not a debater. We have an audience of students, people who diligently want to learn. And of course, a moment as the coronation is a good time at least to reflect on the coronation. There's so many angles we could reflect on it as I was telling even King Anko Madrid, although we have a big reasoning coming up as it relates to spirituality and theology, more theology than spirituality. The theology, the perceptions that we carry as Rastafari, and the coronation of the king, you know, it's a subject that can dovetail into that, because the coronation of the king was something that sparked for years to come, you know, the whole, what should I say, the imagery of the returned Messiah, especially not just at the birth, but the coronation was almost like a second birth, you know. Like, yeah, this is it now. We hit it on the head. and these things. So the coronation of the emperor is a very pivot point when it comes to the concept of Rastafari, obviously. Not just the emperor, you know, the coronation of the emperor. But I was also saying that outside of the theological outlook, you know, some may even argue, more importantly, the coronation of the emperor was a very strong geopolitical statement. You understand? That leads, you know, into historical events and colonialism and neo-colonialism and all of these different things, which is almost like a flip side of the other conversation. So we can see that the coronation of the emperor would mean a lot to us in different angles and from different perspectives. So I just wanted to go into that this evening, you know, see where the conversation leads us. Of course, at the moment, Rasta Adonis and King Haile Selassie is not in the house as yet, but we are hoping that they would catch the wave and come in at some time. King and Comadred, we were together previous strong, you know, we had a beautiful reasoning, you know. A lot of ones commented on that one there. And yeah, ones were very impressed in how we brought it out. And even that energy from that reasoning there is coming to even these kind of conversations as we're kind of looking at, you know, Rastafari's theological concept, as ones would say, new faculty of understanding. But you have anything you want to say about that previous program before we even go into this one? Okay, it was a real good sit down.
Well, I did like it, you know, the program. Yeah, it was good vibes, man. It's just with more food for thought, you know, and things to reflect upon and things like that. So yeah,
It was up for Rasquamai. Know if I want to begin the batting, as they say, as it relates to the coronation, my lord. I know that I have a lot of interesting facts that you might want to put on the table, whether it be spiritual, theological, geopolitical, you know, and especially, as I said, in this time when the discussion, kind of discussion heating up already too, eh?
Oh, Highness is, you know, the 93, you know, celebration of that coronation. As the I say, it's we can look at that from a plethora of different angles, a lot of different angles, you see? But I want us to measure on this part of it for a little bit. Just for a little bit, let's look at the coronation of His Imperial Majesty, not just as a presentation of Ethiopia's leadership and government to Africa per se and the diaspora and to Ethiopia, but it was also a presentation, you see, to the world, for the world to understand that, in a sense, the king of the world, the judge of the world, you know what I mean, has come into, according to Eastern universal consciousness, you see? So, you know, you can see that in the effort that His Majesty took to make sure that his coronation was being broadcast throughout the whole world. Now, when you look at now the leadership that His Majesty brought based on the coronation and so on to the world, that's even a different level, because we're gonna look at you know, the League of Nations and so on. We're gonna look at the leaders that were his contemporaries, and we're gonna juxtapose his leadership and Ethiopia's leadership towards, you know, the leadership at that time. Now, to set the stage for this, to understand the period that His Majesty came on the international scene, is very important to understand about the divinity of His Majesty also. We have heard about the prophecies. We have seen, you know, I mean, the cycles in human history that really speak to His Imperial Majesty. But we have to look at the work now that he had performed on the international scene. Setting the stage, we look at the various, we look at the period, and I'm talking about the period from around the 1920s to the 1950s. That period, I kind of call that period the era of the ideology of superiority and inferiority and international immorality. You see, that was the period. That period there. Right. So now, how do we get to this? You know, it's various instances in history we get to this, but we're going to look at the Berlin Peace, the Berlin Conference to really address that.
You get that?
You know what I mean? The Berlin Conference really set the stage and legalized that particular ideology, the ideology of superiority and inferiority within the universal consciousness. Right there, we see that played out well when the whole grab for Africa went on. A lot of people think that the Berlin Conference only accentuated the whole question of the grab for Africa, but indeed it was the fulfillment of the European conquest of the whole world, the whole entire world. Remember, in the West, they've already conquered the West, North and South America, the Caribbean. China. Now it was just Africa. So when you look at the leadership that His Majesty brought to the League after he was coronated, you look at the international policies of Ethiopia versus the international policies of the big players, the big players within the league, you can see something happen there. You can see something is beginning to happen. Now, Ethiopia's political international philosophy was about the guarantee that collective security have to offer. You're seeing those guarantee and the equality among all nations. That was indeed the international philosophy, to me, of Ethiopia. The other nations, by way of the Berlin Conference, they have already proved that they, have latched on to this whole ideology of the superiority and inferiority. So here you have Great Britain, France, Italy, and so on. And another thing that we have to look on, right, first is when you have an ideology such as this that enter universal consciousness, you see it play out in these countries that I just mentioned. But you're going to have one country that exemplify what we say self-actualize that principle. So here you come with Germany now coming down. After these countries would have already started their ideology and working on the ideology, thinking that Black people is inferior to them. And because of that, it gives them a pretext to go and take over the African people's land and resources and so on. But what Hitler, after a while, was doing now, Hitler took this whole concept to a different level, because if you don't have blue eye and you don't have blonde hair, he's gonna kill you. So you see that concept? That's like the actualization of that concept. And Ethiopia and His Majesty is the balance to this concept. As we go along, we can talk about, the principles that His Majesty was informed his international agenda. We talk about collective security. We can look at the history of collective security and see that His Majesty, really invested, in this principle, to the point where annihilation of his country would have all happened. You know what I mean? So we can look at all these different, points about His Majesty ascension, as King of Kings and ascending to world prominence and so on. And we can clearly see that, this is the King of Kings when all the nations fail to pin themselves to the concept and the principle of collective security, disarmament, international morality and neutrality and so on. When they fail, it was His Majesty alone that stood up for these ideals. It was His Majesty in his 1936 appeal to the League, bringing the attention to the Italian invasion and so on. And it was him that really found himself becoming, not only defender of his people, the Ethiopians, but it was like at that moment he had an epiphany that, in his struggle for the liberation of his people, he found himself becoming the defender for all the small and downtrodden people. This is what the league was there for. So right then and therefore, you have to see that His Majesty became the actual League of Nations, whom that the whole world could depend on to make sure that the principles of right and good and peace and so on carry on. So within that cycles there, the prominence of His Imperial Majesty, played out. You know what I mean? 1, 2, 3 is undeniable. The divinity, the levels just play out on the international scene. There are much prophecies that speak about, His Majesty coming to the League of Nations and so on. We know about the prophecy of I think it's Amos 3, right? Joel. When in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of my people, I shall bring all nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat. We see all these things play out practically in that instance, within that period. So man.
But this, I don't want to jump off of that level there yet. So you're saying, it's interesting what they are saying there, that the other nations, though, they were speaking collective security. When I say, because I think when the king joined them, he joined them talking that talk there. Collective security.
Yeah, well, collective security actually came on the international scene around 1815, after the band of European country forged together and defeated Napoleon in the Napoleonic Wars. What they did now, they formed what is known as the Concert of Europe. And the main objective was
That's the first or the second one?
prevent wars. It was a collective security. It was to prevent wars.
That was the first or the second attempt?
That was the first attempt. The second attempt was, I think, it's in 1889 when they formed the IPU, the Interparliamentary Union. Because of the fact that the Concert of Europe did not live up to the expectations. So they had to dismantle it, so to speak, and they formed the IPU, which was around the 1889 time period. And this was composed of mainly European countries with parliaments, and they tried to negotiate and, deal with disputes peacefully through that diplomatic machinery. And then after that, the League of Nations replaced it. But what is very important about the League, that is different about the other two, is that the League had an international or global mandate, and this was never done in history. That you have a body that would police the whole world. That was never. That is the first. This is the foundation of the world, and my brother. When His Majesty came, you remember they say he was there from the foundation of the world. So we have to see what is going on here. So when the League came in now, you see it. After that, about 3 years after, Ethiopia was given access and become a member, and so a lot of fighting to on, my brother. Because if you consider what I just said earlier with the whole conference of the conference that divided Africa, so to speak, if you consider that, and realizing that an African country was still there, free, and was admitted, you have to ask yourself, what's going on here? So when His Majesty joined the League now, he joined the League, and as you will see, you'll learn later that His Majesty was the one that became, as we hear this verbiage now, the conscience of the world. He became the actual leader, and leader by example, by sticking to the principle. Listen here, they have I know you know this prophecy about, I think it's the Osiris Asa, and when Osiris got chopped up into many pieces and so on. And I think Seth was the one who redeemed Osiris. He went into no, Osiris was the one who helped me out if I'm wrong, but one of them went into to defeat the uncle by the very laws that the uncle set up. You know what I mean? To govern the nation. So His Majesty, like every archetypal prophecy that talk about a divine one will fit His Majesty.
For sure.
Glove in a hand in a glove. You see? So you see that in that prophecy, you find this guy went to avenge the death of his uncle or his father. And what he did, he defeated them by the very laws that they set up the institution by. As you rightfully say, collective security was there before His Majesty. But His Majesty, through his wisdom, realized that, according to him, it's the only way to maintain world peace. You see it? Through collective security and the United Nations Charter. So he went into the to the League of Nations, and he defeated them, even, and judged them by their own laws. So, I mean, it's a lot to say, my brethren. It's really a lot to say. Yeah.
Quite
yes, sir. I'm out just like
give me the two organization name for the audience once again.
The Concert of Europe. The Concert of Europe.
Yeah.
And the Interparliamentary Union.
True, my lord.
See?
Yes,
sir.
Rasta, sir.
Yes, what I man will say in regard to just the last point there about collective security. The way that I have to look at it is just like when the scripture say, faith without works is dead. You understand? If you have the word and them up on paper and then sound fair and right, when I actualize them by putting them into action, basically then dead on the paper. So in a matter of speaking, the insistence by His Majesty and standing up and the principle of collective security, he actually give life to that principle. He put it into effect and let it be able to carry out a judgment among the nations, because that is the principle that will govern all the nation, and the principle is designed to be fair and right and just. So if you have an organization run like that, for example, and things now run right, and nobody make one stance like what His Majesty made, pretty much the words and then dead on the paper, then it mean nothing. So you have to say that the king give life to those principles. He put life in them by saying, hey, if I want to live up to these things, now go work right. And he tell them the match strike in Ethiopia, but the fire will burn in Europe. And then watch in a few years that play out. As a matter of fact, that will persuade Churchill and them guys. For now, then get persuaded by the prophecy. You can put it in the farm. They are the judgment that His Majesty put out.
But stand up, no.
Yeah, because he said so in the appeal before the league. Until the philosophy that whole one race inferior, all of that. You don't lay out the whole roadmap for peace. So if you want peace, you just check them principles. Yeah. And you get that. You see. Let's go to the coronation. Lyman just build on that.
Yeah, man, beautiful.
Build on the reason, and bring it into the focus of the coronation in particular. And rather than so much so of a kind of political view on it, let's bring it into the religious context.
Yeah.
Right?
The politics mean nice as well, and we're good.
Yeah. Well, it all connected now.
No, you don't know.
I'm going to just add this part for compliment because you all connected, right? Just to get the full picture.
But me tell you the reason is, but you're right, man. Go ahead, man. I'm with you, man.
Yeah, full context. Now, if you check it out in each and I personal chat, right? Because we have to do this from a personal experience now for really fully overs, because you get juxtapose against what going on in our environment, or movement that go on in our environment, similar to the movement that go on within us, right? As we commit ourselves to pursue divine truth. When the man start the man journey for seek Jah, so to speak, it was a journey to find the divine truth, to seek the divine truth. So what that mean at that point, the divine truth was not in your grasp, revealed to you yet, right? But along your journey as you go in understanding by reading different scriptures and so on, and the principle that judge all situation become apparent to you, then you can affirm within yourself now that you now see the divine truth. You understand? This happened to every person that actually fulfilled that journey. It takes time for them to come to the point of seeing the divine truth. Let me put it in a different wording. It took time for the divine truth to be revealed to each of us. Although we start out, some of us, years, and say, okay, we commit ourselves to this child and observing these principles and serving the Mosiah like so. You understand? It take a time before you reach to that threshold. Okay, so this is the situation now. So
yeah,
the crowning of His Majesty,
experience,
right?
needed.
I will juxtapose that, just as how we take time for the divine truth to reveal in each of our and I consciousness. It also took time for the divine truth to come into manifestation in our social environment. His Majesty crowning officially signify the revelation of the divine truth into world consciousness. Because in metaphysics, the truth rules supreme in consciousness. The truth sits on a throne as a king. You see? So His Majesty the King actually symbolized the divine truth. We could go further for justify it. Kingship, right? Kingship is an institution that was created by the Nile Valley people, the Nile Valley civilization. I might love to put it in them terms rather than go Ethiopia or Egypt and back and forth between the countries as they are now. The civilization that exists between they created the concept of divine kingship, right? And the idea of that institution was that it was to serve as an office for divine expression in leadership. You see? And created it for that. So it is natural
in leadership.
Yeah. So it is natural for any man that sit as a king, right, to be about a divine mandate, because that's what the office set up for. If you sit down as one king and you're not fulfilling your divine duty, you're really desecrating the institution. You're desecrating the throne, Rasta. Because the office is for divine purposes, for carry out divine leadership upon the people that the king lead, right? So His Majesty come, His Majesty crowning, right, is when we know officially that the truth have arrived, the divine truth has arrived. Because remember, before the crowning, nobody, all them know that is Tafari McConaughey.
Yeah.
He have various titles like the jazz match and so forth, but he was just that person.
True.
Only when he get crowned and you hear King of Kings and Lord of Lords and all these prophecy, that you know officially that the truth now have come into the revelation.
Yes.
he have now revealed into world consciousness. And that evident by the presence of the 72 nations. That is the world right there symbolically. So the truth now come revealed plain.
Yes.
Bearing these title of kings and lord of lord and everything according to their biblical prophecies to validate their biblical prophecy.
Another thing.
Watch the works now. Because now what work the divine truth do in your personal consciousness? He execute judgment. The only thing that can judge is the divine truth. Think about it. What else can judge? You have to know the truth for judge. You have to know it all to judge. So if you're the divine truth, are you the only one who can carry out judgment? This is why the king is the one that read the judgment before the League of the Nation, not Churchill, not anybody else.
Yes.
And he was actually the first king, I'm sure, and leader of a country to address the body. You understand? Your life without the revelation of divine truth, right, mean that you live in a realm of your own nature, that you're still susceptible to prejudices and all these things. That is the state of existence of collective consciousness of the Western world before the appeal by His Majesty. This is why conquest was legal and all these things. Man no in a control, then greed. Yeah, you understand? You understand? Then in a control, then greed, then lust over other people, something, then covetousness and these things that in them nature. Then in a control that. Then in a cultivate them brotherly love and them someday in them international dealing. Europe no mean do that. Them in a go about and a conquer and a decimate. You understand? That they like you living one life without any spiritual directive in it. No moral directive in it. You understand? And this is how the body of the world was operating up until when His Majesty come and insist on international morality. The divine truth now come into world consciousness and set the order through that appeal for international morality. And because of that divine truth that come into world conscious revelation, we now understand now that every human being have rights. So we set up human rights and the rights of nation and one stronger country, as it was in the time of conquest, where if you're bigger and stronger than me, you can overrun me and just take what is mine. All that done now. You see it? All that over now since the appeal of the king. You see? So His Majesty now symbolizes, this is the metaphysics of it, the revelation of divine truth in world consciousness. Nobody ever speak the way His Majesty speak or insist on these principles in international relation like he did. And he able to do it in a way that get the world attention and make them revamp the league and set up the United Nations with human rights and all these things that make smaller nation can exist without bigger nation just overrun them like the time of conquest.
Yes. That's for sure.
You see? So His Majesty coronation is when divine truth come officially into world consciousness. That means be the loosing of the seal. The seal have been loosed. The spell has been broken. The mystery of yesterday is the revelation of today. That is the loosing of the seal, because from time He comes on now and He saw the seed in the world consciousness. You understand? everybody now start gradually wake up from that time to this time. The other day, I don't understand. 10, 15 years ago, I don't understand that one nation or corporation. I don't have a conversation about the commercial world as a separate entity to the natural world. I don't reason them kind of way. But over time, eyes are open because the divine truth has been sown into world consciousness. And now everybody now a feast from the fruit of that divine truth in what it bring in terms of human rights and all these kind of things that we enjoy now. You understand? That our cars are like the mustard seed. You understand? He planted, he bust, and now he spread like so. That's the revolution going on right now. That's the revolution going on right now. So to the world, His Majesty crowning is like the revelation of divine truth into world consciousness. Because the king symbolizes the divine truth. And the divine truth rules supreme in personal consciousness and in world consciousness. You see, man commercial world that he created, right? Jah create the natural world. You understand? He put a line in everything. He put a line in the heart and the mind of man. He have a law govern the operation of the ecology, the principle by which seed and so germinate and grow, how animal reproduce and everything. He law don't govern all of that. Man have to do nothing there. Man have to set up no line of the world there.
There you go.
But when man create a commercial world now, he had to set up the regulation for that world. Now, if you left man up to man with immortal mind for the exercise law, a devastation you create. So you have to get divine truth into man commercial world, Rasta. That's what the appeal was about. Forget the divine truth through international morality into the commercial world at the foundation. Because without it, then you can't have none justice and none rights and none peace and them thing there. The law is not a single thing, no. The law is a collective. And once it is observed, harmony is assured. Just like the harmony create inside of you when you observe the principles and you feel more esteem about yourself, and so the world would get if the world observe them principles too. Everybody would have good esteem and don't grudge one another. Because look on Rasta, we come Rasta and basically like we throw away our material ambition. Right? I don't have no crave for jump, no fangs and teeth, nothing. You have your nice car, your Lexus or whatever. We in a business, we fire burn you. How come material not have we? A jump people, fangs and teeth, then something, and we not have none? Because our has something else planted inside our being. Our had this morality thing. That they like the rudder that steer the ship. If you not have that, the ship at the mercy of the tide. It drift in any which direction. You see it? So yeah, you know, for now, yeah, that's what I would wish to put down and that differently. That's the metaphysics of it. And we can go into greater detail. You understand? But everything that play out on world stage as a grand drama are actually the same journey that is traveled within each of every one of us. From that point, we are going to have divine truth in our consciousness as a part of our life directive to the point of actually having it. At the same journey that we're going through as people collectively, but most naturally at a much slower pace because on a bigger body and move here.
Rastafari.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, man, give thanks some real heavy philosophizing here tonight, you know. Give thanks, you know. Haile Selassie the Great and the mighty Rasta Adonis in the house. Give thanks, my Lord and my Lord as well. I know the item just coming on that the tail end of that discussion, but you know, we've been reasoning on the coronation and what it means to I. And you know, Rasquamai gave a very insightful outlook, more on a geopolitical level, especially as it relates to the League of Nations and the ideology of it and how it morphed into what it was. And even he spoke of organizations more of a European base, you know, prior to the League of Nations that was attempting the same thing, but something similar to what Ras Isa brought in there, you know, but with the coming in of the emperor now, the whole moral stance, the same morality that a person would keep in their life, you know, if I'm correct, how even King Isa was putting it, that the life force that runs this world that has been created, not the earth now, but the world, as he said, got the law in order, but men set up a law, but it was very void of morality. And that morality was brought in by the emperor when he came on the world stage and even invaded the conscience of everyone on TV.
He was the one found worthy.
Yeah, if I'm getting the story right, this is what I'm gathering from his explanation, and even the state of the world today, you know, and man talking about banding, we call it nuclear disarmament and all of these things was because of the emperor's position. So in a nutshell, I think that's what I gathered from just what I was sitting down here processing a while ago, you know. That's why I said some deep philosophizing, I must say.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but yes, my Lord and my Lord, give thanks. We're here again, you know.
Yes,
King Haile Selassie, my Lord, give thanks. Blessed Lord, God and King, and give thanks for the celebration and give thanks for the King and the Empress coronation. I hope all is well with the eye.
Yes, family, give thanks.
Words. Maybe the eye could tell us one time what the coronation means to the eye, even at this time and that time. Going through, give thanks for your presence, man.
Yes, Father. Well, beloved, what I really, the most greatest thing that I find from the coronation, brethren, is after all of the ceremony, when all of the people say that may His Majesty reign for 1,000 years. You know, that's the most important.
That's interesting.
Word sound that I find from the whole coronation, you know, because we're talking about what we're talking about is 1,000 years from 1930 is 2,930. You know, 1,000 years. And 2,930 now. If we know when the next heliacal rising of Sirius is going to occur, is going to be 3,060, the year 3,060. So we've got 2,930 and we've got 3,060. So we've got 130 years. And also that I find that the changing of the pole star, which is going to occur in 2,590, because the last pole star change from Polaris was in 500 BC, roughly. So if we're going to take 3,090 years from there, carries us to 2,590, you know, in a few hundred years' time, 2,590. Where we're now, 2030. So we're talking about 560 years' time. The Polaris star is going to change to be the star of Cepheus, the Ethiopian king. So His Majesty, it's halfway, you know, it's 500 years after His Majesty's reign began. we're going to see the pole star change. So His Majesty will be in place for the changing of the pole star from Polaris to Cephas. So that is the most important, personally, you know, in my own eye rates, that is what I find. So the 1,000 years from 1930 is so important, you know. Yes, Farah. So there's many things that I find important, but that is the most important thing in my personal journey of the age science, which are the item know, which I deal with. Yeah. Give thanks.
As you're saying, Rasquama, you see so many different angles they can look at the thing from. Because you could never, even if a man don't catch everything the king saying there, you know, you could never leave out the cosmic alignment of the heavenly bodies. But let me say quickly, even before the rabbi comes, since we're talking of these special things about the coronation, while the king was speaking there, something came to mind that I always recognize, that they have a phrase, they say, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And
wow.
I always notice that after the king coronation, I never see him put on them crown again. You know, and I know that the celebration like went several days after. And I think from my research, I think the next day they took some pictures in the palace. There's a specific picture with the king standing with the scepter and the long robe like next to a couch. Apparently that was taken the day after, from at least my research. But I diligently, we know for sure coronation anniversary and all of these things, the king don't put back on those garbs. Like other emperors and all these monarchs, they always put back on their ceremonial stuff and come out with all the heavy clothes. The emperor never like he deal with that ever again. He just army clothes, suit and tie. And once or twice he put on a little thing that give a different flair. And of course the admiral with the lion's mane. But the crown, remember this is the king of kings. This is, I mean, the granddaddy and the ancient of days, and who we waiting for all the ages and all of that. And the man just get crowned and just put that aside and just say, yeah, I gonna work without that. And I think that's a strong, it must have different meanings, but it's surely a symbol of humility. And you know, it shows the human nature of the man too. You know, yeah, right, hold the glitter and the glare, I can go through simply. So I always observe that from my point of view, that how the king dealt with that aspect of it. I know, bless it. Yeah.
Very good point. Very good point. I haven't heard man say that in maybe more than a decade. You're the first man in more than a decade. Like the elders used to say things like that. You know what I mean? You know that he never. Well, you connect it with the what is the Shakespeare? Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Well, but on this day, I give thanks, brothers, here on the Rasta Roundtable again. Yeah, we had a Ethiopian Federation, World Federation event for the first, like, you know, because you know, like over here in the West, by the time it's like the second over there, it's already the third over here. You know how the whole time thing is, off. So we usually like to have it for like the eve, you know, of what this particular day is. But
True.
I give thanks to Ross I CERN, man. I came in and I heard the I was like typewriting on it. It was like, you know, just like dropping, you know, it was like dropping like the rain, like the dew, you know, and what the I was bringing the actualization. I would say it's like the actualization, you know what I mean? The actualization of that which is like biblical prophecy or ancient legends, or one might say mythologies or heavenly signs. It was the actualization. I didn't hear the fullness. I definitely want to rewind and listen to the fullness of it. but it was like an actualization. There are so many things within the coronation, what was fulfilled in the coronation, but more than anything, as Brother Rasta said, you know, I sum it up. I don't know if you use those words, but you used them before. It was actualized, made real. That which was biblical or ancient, or, you know, it brought it down to ground. It brought it down to concrete. You know what I mean? It put it on earth. It put it in real time. True. You know, like His Majesty's what we call it? A symbol, the Kidus Georgis, St. George. It's interesting because I looked up George. What George mean? Georgis, from like Greek and all that, right? Old Greek, right? But don't think that all these things came from white people, basically. You know, there was the Ionians and everything. But anyway, it means earth worker. Earth worker. George means earth worker. And his wife, our empress, Tegemenin, her baptismal and coronation name is Waleta Georgis, which means the daughter of George, the earth worker. And we always talk about the works on earth. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. You know what I mean? So he brought the kingdom to the earth, He brought it down here. Now, you know, you could fantasize about it, but there's work to do down here on earth.
Can I come in, Richard?
Bring it down from theory to practical.
Yes, yes. Yo, good presentation. I heard from you, man. I got to hear the full. It was good.
Can
good.
I step in there, Bridget?
Hmm.
Can I step in, Rasta Adonis?
Well, you already put your foot in the door, so come on in, man. Come on.
Yeah, give thanks. Because where I've actually where you said that to me this evening when we were on the program and you said the earth worker, when I say I couldn't believe it, because I have actually fallen out with one of my priests, you know, because I have said that we need to bring a prayer for Empress Menen.
Yeah, you know that.
And we've fallen out over it. And the reason I say this is because, you know, I was involved in the Raphael Church.
But you know, followed with them man already, King.
Well, I didn't mean to, but it's over this issue. I'm going to tell you the issue.
With that followed with them. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but it's over this issue of Empress Menen being part of the divine.
Yes.
So
and sorry to cut you, but just in case the audience not catching, they are affiliated with the Orthodox Church, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. So
that's right. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Rastafari. Let's go.
Yes, but it's Rastafari. We are Orthodox, but we are Rastafari. We, you know, recognize the divinity of His Majesty, yes, unlike the Ethiopian Church.
Rastafari.
We are Rastafari. We're not Orthodox man who's dealing with Jesus Christus and not dealing with His Majesty. We are dealing with Kadamari, Haile Selassie as the divine in this dispensation. So the problem that came around is that I said, where we, if the IDM don't know, I was involved in the when they found the remains of His Majesty's mother and father. We opened the church in Harar, Kidus Raphael. So as they say in the Ethiopian church, after they say the Lord's Prayer, they say, by the salutation of the Saint Angel Gabriel, O Wazir of Maryam, I salute thee, that thou art virgin in thought, virgin in body, mother of God, support salutations to thee, etc. That is a prayer to Maryam, because we're dealing with the mother of Jesus Christus. But I'm saying now that this event happened in Harar, with His Majesty's mother now being elevated into the mother of God, for that is who she is. This is where we've got a problem. I'm saying she's the mother of God. So now I have adapted the prayer of the Maryam to say, our mother, by the salutation of the Saint Angel Raphael, O Wazir, O Yeshimabet, I salute thee. Thou art pure in thought and the chosen vessel. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb. Lich Teferi.
Of course.
Rejoice thou who is hailed, graceful God is with thee. Beseech and pray for our mercy to thy beloved Son Christus, who reveal himself through the crown of Ethiopia, and our blessed King Kadamawi Haile Selassie. That is the first part, because it's with the Lord's Prayer, our Father who art in holy Mount Zion. That is the backative behind that. So then I say, this is where the problem stands in there. I say, our mother, who, because this is a prayer now, the female Lord's Prayer, which comes because I've got a whole heap of texts. I've got volumes of texts.
It sounds so.
And so I've got a text now from the Gospel of Peace, which has got the female Lord's Prayer. So I've adapted it. As we are Rastafari, we're revolutionary people, we adapt.
What that so, our mother that art in heaven?
So I say, our mother who art on earth, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom has come, thy will, hallowed be thy name, I tegumenin. Thy kingdom has come, thy will shall be done in I and I, as it is in thee. As thou sendest thine angels each day, send them unto us, I and I also. Forgive us our sins, as we atone all our sins against thee. Lead us not into sickness, and deliver us and rescue us, I and I, from all evil. For thine is the earth, the health, and the body. Living ever faithful and ever sure in the love of Kiddush Selassie, Jah. Rastafari. So now this is the problem, because now the one who is putting himself as the head of one amongst us says that I am saying that Empress Menin is the father of Jesus Christ. Now, how did that ever come about? I don't know. I don't know how that come around. That I'm saying that she's the father of Jesus Christ. But now, as our brother Rasta Adonis has said, she's the earth worker. She's the daughter of the earth worker.
Yes, very much so.
It kind of gives me. It kind of It gives me some strength.
Yeah, man, it touched you. I see why you're jumping now. Now I see why you had to jump in, because it touched. I see you. I see that you, man.
Get it too.
So,
yeah.
can we have an opinion? Can you see what I'm dealing with?
Theologically, go ahead.
Yes, Rasa Adonis, I'd love to hear what the other has to say. Yes.
Theologically, I get your point. I get your point as Rastafari, because this kind of goes to a point that Rasta CERN was making before in some of our reasonings. That a lot of these things do come through, and the other brethren as well, and even myself, but I wasn't vocal about it. A lot of these things come through man, come through our understanding of the divine and our understanding of nature and our understanding of things. So based on that, we will see that there should be some sort of a role for the Empress, or Tegemenin Kedamawit Waleta Georgis. There should be some role for her within theological conceptions. But I always tell you, as my brother, understanding theology, both from the Ethiopian side and even from the scriptural Hebrew side, it's a little bit complex. I get your point, but we probably will have to reason on it. And I'll just let you know, it's not me dismissing what you're seeking to bring forward, but I'll be giving you the conflict issues based on not just Orthodox teaching, but also based on biblical, teaching. But I don't know how he came to the father, saying that Empress Menin would be the father. I don't know how he came to, that particular conclusion. You know what I'm saying?
And also, Rasa Adonis, can I just cut in there as well, please? And what I would say is, after I've said that prayer, because I do want to maintain the Orthodox structure, I then, after I've said bringing it to earth, because this is the earth we're dealing with, I then carry it back to the heavens with Mariam, with our Lady Mariam.
So let me ask, that prayer of peace, that's the name of the prayer of peace?
It's not called the prayer of peace. It's called the female Lord's Prayer.
Yes, pardon, yes.
But it is coming from the gospel of peace of Jesus Christus.
The gospel of peace.
That's where I've not made it up.
No, I just make it up. I just check it.
No, but I'm just saying, I've took it from a gospel of peace of Jesus, because I've got volumes of scriptures which aren't in the Bible. Volumes.
And that actually states, our mother who art on earth.
Art on earth. Yes.
That's beautiful. I can't find that. That's all right to me.
Can I share this?
Let's make Uncle Madrid come in there. No, he didn't really.
Respect.
Yes, I
want the idea go first, because my thing kind of is a tangent. It's a slight tangent about coronation. Go through it.
Okay. Just listening to reasoning. Elder.
Yes,
Cypher.
Yes,
I'm just to meditate that perhaps it'd be a good idea.
Hold on, I can't hear.
You can't hear?
Sorry, hold on, Bridget, I miss you. Hold on, I missed that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes,
live.
You hear me now?
Yeah, go again, Bridget. Sorry.
Okay, good. Yeah, what I'm gonna say, Jed, listening to reasoning, I'm just thinking that perhaps a effective way of striking a truce, seeing that the man have the skill to create these prayer, would be to craft a prayer where each time you'd mention the king, you can just mention the counterpart at once. So if you say, our Father who art in heaven, you say, and our Mother Earth, you put the passage that you created for Empress Menin right after that part. And then all the other words would naturally apply to both individual as one energy, one collective energy. So perhaps you can consider that as a way of kind of breaking a truce, where you introduce the Empress without necessarily having it one over here and one over there, like a rival between both ends.
Yeah. But the male and female, these are dual entities, but separate entities, right?
I can appreciate.
Dual entity, but separate entity. So it's very, but what Rasta Adonis said, but let me just say this, Rasta Adonis, before you go on, because the eye is very important that I listen to the eye. But what I wanted to say, after I do that prayer with the Empress Menin, I then go forward and then go with the Mariam prayer. Our mother, by the salutation of the Saint Angel Gabriel, which is the Gabriel is the Tewahedo. The God in man. Gabriel is the angel of God in man, the Tewahedo, So she's now on earth. We are on earth with Empress Menin. We are the earth in this part of the earth. And then we can carry it back into the heights of the heavens, to the higher heaven, through Mariam again. Because then we can say, by the salutation of the Saint Angel Gabriel, always hear the Mariam, I salute thee. Thou art virgin in thought, virgin in body, mother of God, what salutations to thee. Blessed art thou among women. Blessed is the fruit of thy womb. Rejoice thou who is held. Graceful God is with thee. Beseech and pray for our mercy to thy beloved Son Christos, who revealed himself in the crown of Ethiopia to our blessed King Kadamawi Haile Selassie.
You say this is the thing you say that when you say Mariam, but remember we already clarified you're talking about was Yeshima Bet too. A lot of ones not gonna really roll with that there. For sure. You see, even among Rastafari right now, a lot of ones don't see it, even with the Empress Menin. It's not everyone has God the Father and God the Mother. Many ones, especially if you want to call them extremists and hardcore fundamentalists, that's the real word I was looking for. They'll tell you, no, Empress Menin is the wife of God, not the female version of God. She's holy.
Yeah.
But you have a kid, how you put it. Yeah, it's not a strong, here it's not a forceful argument, because there's not too many ones really into the scholarship, to be very honest. But those who really check in their doctrine and they're fundamentalists, you're serious about that. I think that's why even the king hesitate to give you that full badge a while ago there, you know, like, okay, let me look at it again, because we can't just jump at this, that will take our time. Yeah, I think that's right.
Well,
Yeah,
Rasta,
I want to know if you could enable the screen share.
Okay, yes. You put me on the spot. Yeah.
say that again, Bridget. I never get what you said.
Me?
I just asked him to enable the screen sharing.
Yeah, I'd have to make you host, but I don't think they can't really.
No, you don't have to make me host. You could just check it. I kind of, you know. Well, however, it could be done.
Okay, so allow you sure not to make a host.
It's not necessary that I be the host, but if that is how you know how to do it, then you could do
yeah,
it.
I
So
don't know to do it, and all engineers must be sleeping by now. Okay, tell me. let me, let me, let me make you host, you know. Yeah, I gonna make you host, and then you will just bring it back
yeah,
when
man.
you're done.
Yeah. But I was just going through the internet searching about coronation, and I come across this article I never see before. I find it so interesting. I have to share it with everybody. You know, this thing here says a depiction of is a depiction of.
Hold on. Before you share, right? Just before you share, and even for the audience, this whole session going to be divided into two. So you're going to see in the first half and just join us for the second half. You already know what to do.